2019, they used this tournament as a springboard to a national championship.
I don't think Virginia cares about the seeding. I think they just want to right the ship and start playing better lacrosse, play a complete game, right? Eliminate the sloppiness that they experienced in the middle of the field last week against Notre Dame.
Will Lynch for Notre Dame, Anthony Ghobriel, the Navy transfer at the Faceoff X for Virginia. And the ACC tournament underway. First time they brought the tournament back since 2019. Will Donovan vacuums the ground ball. Notre Dame's
in the cage for Virginia.
Angrick has brought some punch to that second midfield. 5th goal of the season. In the meeting last Saturday, this is where Notre Dame was better. Plus 25 on ground balls. They come up with another one. Lynch gets pushed from behind. That'll draw a flag. And now Notre Dame's vaunted man-up offense clicking at 71. Brown would lose to Virginia in the first round that year. He was Brown's top scorer 2 years in a row. Lynch shovels it back. Ben Ramsey, another flag against Virginia. And this feels like an extension of the 4th quarter.
They had one shot in transition, and that was it.
Lynch wins another face-off. Accelerates ahead. Lynch beating Nunes upstairs. The Irish, every bit the Goliath they were in the regular season.
The first 2 face-offs, Virginia actually won the clamps, and Notre Dame got the ball from the wings. The last 2, Lynch has won to himself right here, the push forward. And what's so impressive here is Virginia really wants him taking that shot to shoot it with his offhand, with pace, to the top bar. Right? It being high is the difference maker. Nunes and Cage thinks that face-off guy's going low.
And Virginia's made a change here. Tommy McNeil and Ben Way are double poles on the face-off wings to help out Ghobriel. Lynch has won all 4 face-offs. 2 goals in 5 seconds for Notre Dame. And Lynch wins this one. Now can he escape the poles? He does. Another possession for the Irish. Virginia has yet to have a settled set. Will Lynch made a name for himself a season ago during championship weekend. He's carried that into a very solid 2024.
He's one of the best in the business now in college lacrosse, and he has taken it to the Virginia Cavaliers here in the first quarter. 5 for 5. And his ability to make adjustments last week, not the case. Facing the same Virginia faceoff team, he has now taken over this game. And right now, the possession, the field is so weighted towards the Fighting Irish, given his dominance at the Faceoff X.
Lynch was below 50% going into the national semifinals last year. Virginia looked to have its first faceoff, and then Weyer turns it over. Couldn't keep the ball after the hit. Beginning with championship weekend a season ago, up until now, Lynch is winning at about a 60% clip. Down to Maryland.
Will Lynch said the biggest difference for him is the confidence he has when Notre Dame double pulls off that face-on
bowl.
You know what?
The attention of the football folks.
And what may be the best part about him is his younger brother may be just as good, if not better, who's also coming to South Bend.
And Tyler Buckner and Faceoff, Notre Dame's the only team in the country with 2 bowl game MVPs on its lacrosse roster. Here's the freshman, McCabe Millen, 2 freshmen in the country. Son of 2 Hall of Famers. You played with his dad, Mark. And, you know, you want to separate teams into tiers as we get close to Sunday and Selection Sunday. To me, tier 1 is Notre Dame. I don't think there's anybody else in that tier.
Yeah, and I thought that margin was pretty slim. Watching this, I'm starting to question myself. Probably the best quarter of lacrosse to win the ground ball battle, not just be like close. Right now, Cormier has 2 shots, Schellenberger 1, and that's about all she wrote.
Ghobriel wins the face-off. Schellenberger had a great look. He knows it. Missed it wide. So much is made of the big 3 that we'll see this weekend. Kavanaugh and Schellenberger in this one, Brennan O'Neill later. And I had
right shot, but the first shot, and if he's just stealing possession after possession, it's tough. Somebody keep an eye on here. Connor Schellenberger just went to the bench for Virginia. I saw him grab his shoulder after a shot. So I think he's getting looked at by the training staff on the sideline.
Another face-off one, meanwhile, for Notre Dame. 7-3 face-off advantage. Donovan stays out there, as does Lynch.
Slide. If I'm them, I don't slide. Right? They're very good athletically. Let the other teams beat you.
Virginia's double polling. It doesn't matter. Notre Dame keeps winning face-offs. There's Fulton Bayman. And you're starting to see Notre Dame sub a little liberally. They got Bayman. We saw third midfield get some run in that opening quarter. Ghobriel scoops up the face-off. They'll play it back to Nunes. We check in with Maryland.
Connor Schellenberger now back on the field, but while he was on the sideline, the training
portion of the cage, Millen showing his ability to do that right there.
And that has not been a weapon this year for Virginia.
And again, I think it gets Jack Boyden on the field for Virginia, who plays a lot like Xander Dixon from a year ago, right? He can be that off-ball player where Schellenberger can get him involved. It makes the defense start sliding, and that's when Connor Schellenberger can start picking you apart.
Not a 10-man ride, but Virginia applying pressure. Dangerous pass.
Hit. Because if you do hit him too hard, the refs have been coached into saying, hey, that's not part of our game going forward. Let's remove it.
Now we've seen it officiated. When in doubt, throw the flag. Another face-off won by the Irish. Now talking to Kevin Corrigan before the game, he said, that's to date, can Virginia still be a top 8 seed and host? Absolutely. But you're going to sweat it out a little bit to see if you're going to be in Charlottesville for round 1 come Sunday if you don't win.
Yeah, the lack of that marquee win, I think, is a problem for the Cavaliers. I also think, like, who knows, there's some new people on the committee. Does the eye test ever come factor in this game right now? Do they look like a top 8 seed in the first half of this game? I think you can. Getting Jack Boyden on the attack, trying to get Millen a more favorable matchup.
Face-off violation to start, so Virginia will have possession. In the first half, the Irish won 11 of 15 at the Egg. A couple of guys on Duke might get there this weekend if Duke plays to Sunday. Dyson Williams and Brennan O'Neill, both close. Another face-off won by Virginia. Cormier also has put together 3 straight 50-goal seasons at Virginia. No one else even has 2. Turnover on the clear. Lynch, and that's a huge save. Mark that down, 14:09, third quarter. And that would have given the momentum back to Notre Dame. Nunes comes up with a big save. And Virginia, again, sloppy in the clearing game. Bergmaster gets into Schultz.
Positions defensively, and Notre Dame making them pay with smooth, efficient offense.
The Cavaliers double pole the face-off wings again. McNeil near side, Whalen far side. Colucci took the face-off against Hagstrom. Notre Dame wins it. They've double poled quite a bit tonight, and frankly, it hasn't mattered. Now Chris Kavanaugh. There's Nick Harris. Harris at D-midi will run off. Second. Well, Villanova would be a bid thief. You could argue had Georgetown, could Georgetown be a bid thief? Is Georgetown a team that can get an at-large? But I'm with you. I think whoever wins the Big East is going to take a spot from somebody because Denver will be in.
Right.
I still think Maryland gets in. And then Michigan, like they were last year, could be a bid thief. And then you've got the Ivy League tournament, which starts tonight.
Coming into this game, really, I thought, all right, like who are the 5 teams that I think are really dangerous to win? I thought it was the 4 playing in the ACC tournament, struggling.
The new goalie is Kyle Morris, the redshirt freshman. It's been a tough finish to the season for Matthew Nunes. Against Duke, 0 for 7 in the first quarter, was pulled. Struggled in the first half against Syracuse, 3 for 12. 3 for 10 in the second half last week against Notre Dame. And today, only 6 saves, 13 goals allowed. Connor Schellenberger without a point. Matt, 8 of the 14 Notre Dame goals have come from players outside of their top 6 on offense. Schellenberger still can't get that first one. Entenmann, another save. I've said it before, he can be the Minotaur at the end of the labyrinth, and he's been that today.
I think right there is a prime example of like overthinking, right? Steal a few and then make every save that he's supposed to save. So some of these shots, they're like, hey, it's a good shot for Virginia, but it's low angle, and Entenmann's going to take advantage of it.
Near disaster on the clear. 14 saves for Entenmann. Virginia gets it over. A 10-goal lead against Notre Dame.
Is countering that by now bringing Kavanaugh over the midfield to help with the ride, and it creates that transition because Virginia's not quite sure where he is.
Face-off won by Ghobriel. But you're seeing the downside of double polling. If you're going to double poll, you're not getting transition off a face-off win.
And again, maybe you abandon the double poll because you weren't winning the 50-50 ground balls in those scenarios anywhere. Ghobriel is actually doing a
sixth-year senior. The coaching staff believed he was done at the end of last year. And Matt, as of the start of this new year, he was working in New York City. Out of college, had a real job. Had a year of eligibility left and realized, hey, I got one last chance to play lacrosse. I'm going to take advantage of it. And was a last-minute addition to this Notre Dame team, and he brings back a pretty big piece on defense. He's been known as a takeaway artist throughout his career.
Some real-life experience. What an addition he's been for the Fighting Irish.
Playing midfield for the Irish after leading Brown in scoring the last 2 years as an attackman. Champ Week already bringing its share of chaos. We told you earlier, Denver going down in the Big East tournament yesterday. Georgetown pushed to overtime by Providence, and then earlier today, Army, a team that came within a whisker of championship weekend last year. The most impressive part. So much of Notre Dame's offense today, their goal scoring, has come outside of their top 6. In fact, the majority of their goals today have come from outside of their top 6. Entenmann trying to retreat into the cage. The ball went a little wide.
And I think what's so impressive, there's games, right, where like your best players are the ones who are initiating the offense, but maybe they don't get the points. That can happen.
Oh, look at this, Nick Harris.
Today, he does have a tendency to lower his body.
One of the big storylines now going into Selection Sunday is how far does Virginia fall? Now, they have a resume and an RPI that will get them into the field. The question is, do they, in recent memory, but can you imagine if Notre Dame had a run in 2022 and had what they did last year and what they could do this year? We're looking at this Irish program in this window, in this Kavanaugh era, this Pat Kavanaugh era, in a different light, Matt. You know, Matt, Notre Dame was the one team out of the 4 here in Charlotte who probably needed to win today the least. Virginia had lost 3 in a row. Duke had been a little up and down over the last few weeks. They had a humbling loss that surprised everybody to North Carolina a week ago. You got a Syracuse team, right? Are they ready to take that next step? This could be a platform